So, so in the last class, I've introduced you people to Spring Framework. It is an application framework. It's an enterprise application framework, I can say, which is used for developing enterprise applications. Not only enterprise, but as I told you people, we can develop any type of application using Spring Framework. Yes. Okay. Today, uh, first of all, I'll introduce you people to Spring Framework modules. Let's try to understand. Spring Framework here, modules. You'll find that there are several modules in Spring Framework, like Spring Core module is there, Spring, first we'll start with Spring, just let me brief it. So, when we talk about Spring Core module, you know, this module is considered as the fundamental module, or the building blocks of your Spring Framework. Oh, I'm sorry, just a minute. Okay, are you people able to see the screen? Okay, good. Forgot to share the screen. So, sorry. So, Spring Core module is considered as the building blocks for your Spring Framework. Okay. Yes. So, in this module, what you're going to learn is you will learn how to create Spring Beans, how to work with Spring Container, dependency injection, and its advantage, and Spring Bean life cycle, bean wiring, or configuring beans using XML, sorry, XML and annotations. An auto wiring concept. Okay, so these are all the things which you'll be learning here in the Spring Core module. So if you want to work with any other module in Spring, first of all, you should be familiar with Spring Core module. You should be familiar with Spring Core module. Okay. Yeah. Next, we got Spring AOP module. AOP stands for Aspect Oriented Programming. So basically, this is a complementary for your object oriented programming, I can say. Aspect oriented programming is complementary for your object oriented programming. Yes. So mainly in AOP, you will learn how to address cross-cutting concern issues. Cross-cutting concern issues. So what is a cross-cutting concern? Yes. What is a cross-cutting concern? Any idea? Cross-cutting concern means just a minute, please. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. Separate the functionality. Okay, I can say that is one of the applications or usage of AOP to separate the functionalities. When we talk about a cross-cutting concern, uh, that is the main issue here. The cross-cutting concern means the code which is spread across the application, across the modules, and across the layers, I can say. It is spread all over the application. Such code is called as cross-cutting concern code. The code, common code I can say, which is spread across the application. Cross-cutting concern means the code which is spread across the application. We'll discuss more about it in detail later on. But can you people give me some examples for such code which is spread across the application? Okay, I'll tell you people. When I say cross-cutting concern means examples are, I can say the most common example which you people are familiar is exception handling. Am I right? And you'll find that going forward we'll be using logging here in this application. I'll introduce you people to logging. Then next transaction management. You see in the DOs, especially when you're using Hibernate, we saw that for non-selected DB operations, we need to write the transaction management code and all, right? So that is another example. So common code, yes. So these are the examples for it. So exception handling, you see, it is spread across the application. Logging also, you'll find that it is throughout the application. Can I say that this code is a business logic? Can I say that this is related to business logic? No. That is one important point you need to understand. This is not business logic. We call it as infrastructure code. Okay. Supporting code here. Yes. So which is not a business logic. but you will find that it is mixed up with almost everything, with business logic, with data access code, with presentation logic. It is mixed up with everything. So that is the main concern. So we'll see what are these issues and all. But as of now, just for time being, you will just remember this point. We use AOP to address the cross-cutting concern issues. Next module is Spring JDBC. Spring JDBC, I can say that it's a wrapper around your JDBC API. It's a wrapper around your JDBC API. Okay. So why we need a wrapper around JDBC API? You know, Spring JDBC, I can say that this module is used to interact with the database server itself, and it addresses the limitations. It will address the limitations which we see in JDBC API, but not all limitations. To some extent, I can say better than JDBC API. Of course, it is better than JDBC API. So if you can recollect, in Hibernate we have discussed about the JDBC API drawbacks or limitations. This is Spring JDBC also will help us address this issue. But when we have Hibernate in place, then why do we need a module like Spring JDBC again, right? Hibernate has got everything which you need to interact with the database server. It helps us a lot, you saw that. Then why do we need Spring JDBC? Spring JDBC, you can place it this way. Let's say Hibernate is very top level framework now to handle persistence and all, to deal with persistence. Next comes your Spring JDBC. Next comes your JDBC API. Yes. This is how you can place them. Hibernate framework, Spring JDBC, and then JDBC API. Okay. So that means JDBC API is very low level API. Above that you have Spring JDBC, which is somewhat better than JDBC API, which will address some issues to some extent, whereas Hibernate is top level now. So one more important difference between Spring JDBC and Hibernate framework is that Spring JDBC is not ORM based. So when to use Spring JDBC? For small or medium scale applications you can go for Spring JDBC. For large applications, of course, you should go for Hibernate. For large applications, of course, you should go for Hibernate. Okay. Yes, Tarun. You have just joined, so I'm talking about Spring modules. So what are the modules which we have in Spring? Like we have core module, Spring AOP, and JDBC. I was talking about JDBC. Have joined here. Okay, so which is better than JDBC API? It's a wrapper around JDBC API, I can say. Core module, you'll learn how to create beans, how to work with Spring container dependency injection, Spring Bean life cycles, how to wire the beans, configuring the beans, and auto wiring. Okay, yes. Next, we have Spring ORM module here. What is this ORM module? Yes. ORM means In this framework, yes, it is object relational mapping. Can I say that this is another framework which is provided by Spring? No. This module, it mainly concentrates on integration. Okay, Spring or a module helps us to integrate ORM frameworks with Spring. You know, I've told you people one framework, that is Hibernate. Yes, you people have gone through Hibernate framework, which is ORM. But you know, in the market, there are other ORM frameworks also. Yeah. Do you know any other ORM frameworks other than Hibernate? I bet is, yes, that's right. Now it has become my bet is, I guess. I bet is now my bet is, huh? Yeah, I guess so. Yes. And JPA, it is official ORM framework, I can say. Yes, that's right. JPA is another official ORM framework. It's not a framework, it's more a kind of specification, I can say. But it is also, now you know what good news is? I can say that you also know JPA. So if you're familiar with Hibernate, you're familiar with JPA also. Almost they are similar. And I'm going to provide you the records. See, so as I told you people, I'll be providing you EJB3 records. There you'll find JPA as well. Okay. Yes. Next, there is another framework called as, it's from Oracle. My goodness, I forgot the name. Just a minute, let me check. It's Oracle's. No, we don't use it much. Let me see. From Oracle also there is a framework. Top link. Yeah, got it. Top link. Top link. Oracle's top link. Yeah. Have you people heard about it? Oracle top link. Top link is also an ORM framework from Oracle. So Hibernate is most popular. Again, my bet is, I guess it is now my bet is not I bet is. You got JBA and so on. So you'll find that Spring Framework provides a support, integration support with this ORM frameworks. Okay. Yes. We can easily integrate those frameworks with Spring and work with them. There are several advantages for this. You'll come to know about it when we discuss about it. Next, we got another module called as Spring MVC. MVC stands for Model View Controllers. Spring MVC, you can think of it as a web framework itself here. You can call it as a web framework. Yes. Okay. Here, Spring MVC, I can say that you can think of it as a web framework which is used for developing web applications like your struts. You've gone through struts too, right? So this is similar to your struts framework, I can say, which is mainly used for developing web applications. Next, we got sorry, Spring Security. Okay, Spring Security, where you learn how to secure the applications using Spring Security module. We can secure the applications. When we talk about security, two things will come into the picture, especially authentication and authorization. So it helps us to handle both authentication and authorization, this security module. What is authentication? Yes, authentication deals with checking the credibility of the users, checking whether the user who they claim to be, checking whether the user who they claim to be, whether they are really who they claim to be. Yes. Next, authorization. It deals with checking the privileges of the users. Whether you see the user may be a valid user, but sometimes user is not allowed to access all the resources in that application. User will not be allowed to access all the resources in the application. Yes. So we say here the user is not privileged. So whenever a user is trying to access a resource, checking whether that user is really privileged or has the authority or privilege to access that resource. That is authorization, I can say. Okay, that is authorization. Yep. So it helps us in both. We don't need to write this authentication and authorization code. It's predefined. It helps us. Okay. Yes, you'll see that. So this is about Spring Security. So you will learn all these modules in your Spring framework. There are other modules also, but I'll be teaching only these modules. Okay. Yes. Fine. So once you're comfortable with these modules, you'll automatically can learn others also, but these are the most important ones. Fine. You know, if you want to work with Spring Framework, if you want to work with Spring Framework, then first of all, um, you need Spring libraries, right? And Spring, you can use a special ID which is provided by Spring Framework. You can make use of it. Yes. Now, what I'm going to do is one more thing here. In order to work with this Spring Framework, I'm going to use Maven tool. Okay, Maven tool. So before we move any further, so I'll talk about Maven tool. Okay. Yes. So what is this Maven tool here? Yes. Why do we use it? Maven is actually considered as a build tool. It is not just specific to Spring Framework, okay? It's not just specific to Spring Framework, but I always do this. Generally, I show how to work with Maven in Spring itself. So they both uh, sorry, it is an advantage to use Maven tool with Spring. It helps us to really manage the dependencies and all. We'll see that. Yes. So Maven tool, it's a build tool. Is anyone familiar with this tool? Can you people talk about this Maven tool? No? Okay, don't worry. Basically, Maven tool is from Apache Software Foundation. Okay, let's go through this Apache Maven tool. You know, uh, very important tool, most widely used in the development. So earlier, people used to use Ant a lot, but slowly Ant has replaced Maven. Sorry, Maven has replaced Ant. I told you people the other way. Maven has replaced Ant. Okay, yes. You see, here, this Maven tool, what is it? Apache Maven tool is a software management and comprehension tool, and it is based on the concept of project object model. So Maven can manage a project's build, reporting, documentation from a central piece of information. Yes. You know, Maven helps us in every phase of the development, I can say, right from project structure creations, getting the dependencies, okay, compiling the code, building that application so that we can deploy it on the application, all such things in testing. Yes, it helps us in every phase. Yes. So, and it is based on an XML project object model, which is basically an XML based file. So through which we can, you know, specify what you want the Maven to do here for you people. Yes. So first of all, if you want to work with Maven, actually you can explicitly download Maven and configure it. But as I told you people, if you're using Eclipse ID or if you are working with Spring Framework, so you don't need to download it explicitly. But still, I'll show you people. You see, you can download Maven from this official site. Okay, just download it. You see, you got a zip file here. You have to download the zip file. You have to download the zip file. You see this one, binary zip archive, not source. Binary zip archive. Okay, so make sure that you download this binary zip archive here. Yes. Next, let's see how to configure this Maven tool. Let's see how to configure this Maven tool. You see, I've downloaded this Maven here, and you have to extract it. You'll get a zip file actually. Make sure that you extract it. Okay, make sure that you extract it. And in the extracted folder, these are the files which you will see, like bin, boot, config, lib, and all. So in the bin folder, you'll have you know, all the Maven commands, okay, which you can use them to work with from the command line. Yeah. So after you're done downloading that Maven zip file, and you have to extract it. So once you're done extracting the zip file, you see this is what you'll get, right? Now you have to configure some settings here in the advanced variables. System variables are there now. So do one thing, right click on the computer, go to the properties. In the properties you have advanced system settings, right? In the advanced system settings you got environmental variables. In the environmental variables, first of all make sure that you add this java underscore home. Yes, you can check that. Make sure that you set the JDK path here, Java home. Did you people set this Java home initially earlier? Okay, good. Next, you know, in the system variables, you see, you'll find a path variable, right? You'll find a path variable here. Open this path variable in the system variables, and what you need to do is here, you need to set the path here till maven bin. Copy the path till maven bin. Wherever you have that maven folder, in that folder you'll find bin. Till that folder, copy that path. Okay, copy the path till that bin folder of maven folder and add it to this path here. I guess already I've added it. You can add a semicolon and you can add it. You see, I did that here. You see, till bin you need to add it. Okay, you can add it, append it, and the last add a semicolon and paste that link. You can add it to the last here. Okay, yes. So hope you people got it. Yes. Okay, now you can click on OK. Click on OK and everything. Click on OK. Yes. So once you're done closing this advanced system settings, open the command prompt. Now you can test whether your Maven is working or not. Okay, so how will it, if you want to work from the command prompt sometime, you need to do this. Okay, otherwise you can ignore it. Sometimes you may need to do that. Always it is recommended you better set the path to the Maven this way. So this is the command mvn -version, which I'll type here. You see, if you type in this command mvn -version space -version, you should see the Maven details, Maven home details, Java version, Java home, default locale, operating system details, everything. It should show these details. If you see these details, then I can say that Maven is successfully installed. Okay, Maven is successfully installed. Yes. So hope you people got it. So now what we can do with Maven, you can create a project from the scratch. It helps you people to manage the dependencies and all. Okay, so before we move any further, I have a question. I guess hope we have discussed about JUnit, right? Did we talk about JUnit framework earlier? Yes, I did remember with some other batch thought you people. Yeah, over the weekend, one weekend, I thought that I did that. So hope you people remember JUnit, right? Okay, good. So JUnit also going to help you people. Yes, fine. You see, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you people how to create a Java project using Maven tool from the command line. Okay, let's see once. That hope this way you'll have some confidence. So uh, to help you people to create the project, Maven project and all from the scratch, you see, you can make use of Maven 5 minutes tutorial. Maven people have provided this tutorial, 5 minutes tutorial, so it's very good just to create a basic application. I'll paste that link here. You can also search in the Google Maven 5 minutes tutorial. You see, um, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to create a very basic Java project. Okay, using Maven tool, we'll do that. So for that, this is a command. I'll explain it. This is a command. So always you see to run the Maven, sorry, always to run the Maven, you'll use this command mvn. Okay, in order to run Maven, you will use this command mvn followed by archetype generate. This option here, it indicates that you want to create a project. You want to create a project here, and when we create a project, you see, we will, it's a Java project, right? So we will have a package structure, of course, right? You will provide the details about the project structure using group ID. Sorry, sorry. So you will use this switch group ID here. Okay. So why we are using group ID? To configure the package structures. Like what package structure you want to use in the application. For suppose I want it to be com.mtc.app. com.mtc.app. Remember one thing in Maven, always we use group ID to provide the package details. Next, for a project, we'll have a name, right? Project name will be there or application name will be there. Yes. Just a minute, please. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. You see, here we have to configure a name for the project, right? We should give a name to the project which you're creating. So the project name, sorry, the project name, you'll configure it using this artifact ID. Artifact ID. Let's say I want to name it as sample app. You can give any name you wish. So make a note of this point, so all of your artifact ID is used to configure the application name here. Yes. Okay. Next, sorry. After artifact ID, you'll have archetype artifact ID. Archetype artifact ID means, you'll find that Maven, it provides project templates. Maven provides a project templates. For different types of projects, you got different templates. As of now, we want to create a basic Java application, right? Similarly, sometimes you want to create a web application, and sometimes you want to create a web application using struts and hibernate. Sometimes you want to create a web application using Spring MVC, and sometimes you want to create a web application using JSF and hibernate, something like that. So you see, for different requirements, for using different frameworks, you'll be developing applications. For that, you have templates in Maven. We call them as archetype artifacts. Okay, they are called as archetypes. So they are templates. Template means, what do you think here? You'll get the project structure, ready-made project structure, which you can readily make use of it. Okay, you'll get a project structure. Yes, which you can make use of. So now, based on your requirement, you have to choose the project structure. For suppose if you want to create a very basic project, then you can use archetype quick start. You can use archetype quick start. So this is one of the templates, project templates. Okay, archetype quick start is one of the Maven archetype quick start. I'm sorry, Maven archetype quick start for creating just a basic Java project. So for other types of applications, we got other archetypes here accordingly. Okay, yes. Next, interactive mode. This is another switch which you generally configure. False means, you know, although if you don't set this interactive mode value to false, you know what happens? You'll find that Maven will prompt you for your confirmation. It will prompt you for the confirmations. It will ask you whether you want to create a project with a name, with this package, with this name and all. Just a minute, just a minute. Yeah, sorry. So see, you see, if we don't set this interactive mode to false, so for every action it performs, like when it is creating a project, when it is creating the package, when it is creating, it will ask you for confirmations. Always it will ask you for confirmation here. Okay. Yeah, you have to, it will ask you yes or no. If you don't want to give confirmation for each and every step, you can just set it to false. That's it. So is it clear for you people? Let's, I'll paste this command here, Maven command here. Not here, I'm sorry. Oops. What I'll do is, I'll browse to that folder, cd Maven. So I've got a MVN work folder, I'm sorry. You see the files here. As of now, you have only two directories, RESTful proj and sample RESTful proj. Okay. Yes. Now what I'm going to do is here, I'll paste this command here. Okay. And I'll press enter. Let's see. You see, using the details, now Maven has created a project for us. Using the details, what Maven did, it has created a project for us. Okay. Now let's go through that project. Sample app. This is your project here. Okay. Sample app. This is your project. Yes. Now let's open this project. Yes. So the first thing to notice here is your pom.xml file. The first thing to notice here is pom.xml file. Yes. POM stands for Project Object Model. Okay. POM stands for Project Object Model. Yes. You know what? Here you'll find that Maven uses this file, pom.xml file. Maven tool uses this file to understand the project details, what exactly you want Maven to do. Okay, so see all the project details, you'll find them here. You see the group ID, the artifact ID. Group ID means the project structure, as I told you people. The project structure which has to be used here. Next, you see artifact ID refers to the project name. What is this packaging here? What do people think? Packaging, it indicates a deployment unit, deployable unit here. So generally, once the project is built, once you created the project here, so how will you ship the project? Uh, you see that executable file in Java, I can say, creating a kind of executable file. There is nothing but packaging unit here. In this case, it is jar. Jar stands for, you know that. Jar stands for Java archive. Okay. Generally, if it is a normal Java application, so we'll create this packaging unit. What if it is a web application here? What if it is a web application? Then what you will do? What if it is a web application? What is the packaging unit which you're going to use? It's a WAR file, web archive. For enterprise applications, you'll use ER. ER means enterprise archive. You'll see that. Okay, definitely will work with them. Yep. Okay, fine. Now the version here, that means you see once we are done developing the application, so what happens here? You'll find that the Maven tool, we can ask it to build this jar file. It will do that. And you see, what is this version here? What is this version here? Version, what do you think version means? You see, generally, this is one of the practices which you'll see in the industry, software industry. You'll find that here, whenever you develop an application, um, you'll provide the version number also. For example, the application which you people have developed, let's say it is the first version, first time you have developed that application. Okay, so in that case, the version will be 1. Let's say if you have done some minor changes to the application, for suppose, once you have released your project version 1, it is first version. Now your client have noticed some issues with the application, maybe some bugs are there and all. You have been told to fix that issues. So you see, well, that fixing that bugs and all. Okay, so now they are related to, if you say fix those bugs and all, and again you'll release the project after that, after fixing the bugs. Now I can say this will be a minor release. That once you that release is called as a minor release, and minor releases will be indicated with points. Let's say 1.1. So after you have released your project, now you have made some changes, minor changes, that means fixing the bugs and all, and again you'll release the project. So that project release will be 1.1. Point 1, you will add 1.1 here. It indicates that you've done some minor changes. But suppose now your client wants you to add some functionalities, additional functionalities to the project, and it leads to major changes in the application, right? So in that case, now you see you'll do some major changes, right? You're adding some additional functionalities and all. Okay, yes. So in that case, your release will be 2 now. Your release will be 2. So this number you have to increase it. So this way, every time you make any changes, you have to increase the version number. If it is a major changes, if you are doing major changes, you'll increment this value, you know, or else if you have minor changes, you'll increment the decimal point. That's it. Okay, yes. Next, name element. It refers to the jar file name. Name here, it refers to the jar file. You see, Maven will create a jar file, right? It will build the project for us. It will compile the code. It will build the jar file. So the jar file name, what it should be. See, this is how you'll specify the name. Sample app, followed by this version number also will be added to that jar file. Next, it refers to the official site, the Maven repository, I can say. Next, you got dependency details here. Yes. So what is a dependency? You know, we have discussed about dependency in Spring in the last class. At least just I briefed you people on that dependency in the last class. But that dependency is different from this dependency. Okay, Maven dependency is different from this dependency. Yes. So when we talk about Maven dependencies, these are project dependencies, I can say. You will find that here they refer to the libraries. Maven dependencies or project dependencies means they are nothing but libraries, I can say. They are nothing but libraries which are needed for this project. See, by default it is adding this dependency. What is it? JUnit. So what does that mean? This dependency here, it refers to the libraries related to JUnit framework. They refer to the libraries related to the JUnit framework here. Okay, yes. So hope you people got it. Yes. So these are the details generally which you'll find here. Yes. Now you see, once you're done creating the project, okay, once we'll go through the structure now. Is in the source folder, you have the structure. You see, you'll find a main folder under which you'll have that main code and all, and you have a test folder. Test folder, you'll have the test cases. And the test folder, you will have test cases here. Yes. Main folder, you see, and now under the main folder, you will find that you got a folder called as Java. Under that Java folder, you will find this packaging structure here. You'll find this packaging structure. Yes. So com mtc app, we have provided this structure, right? We did provide that structure. We have provided that structure. You see, Maven, what it does, by default, it adds this class. You may or may not use it, but by default, Maven tool, it is adding this class here that I want you people to understand. Okay. Yes. So this is what you have in that main folder. So this packaging structure which we have specified, according to that packaging structure, it has created the packages here, right? You see under the test folder you have this Java com mtc app, and you have this Java class. By looking at this class, can you people tell me what exactly is this class here? So this is a test case actually. But generally we didn't create the test case this way, right? How did we create the test case? Did we create a test case this way? You know, this test case which you're looking at here, it is as per the JUnit 3 version. It is according to the JUnit 3 version here, not 4. Generally in 4 you'll find that we don't use this extends test case and all. So we'll be using annotations, and straight away you'll define a method and annotate it with @test, which is considered as a test case and all. Fine. So this is the project code. Now we got a class called as app, in which you got a main method, and that you got hello world. So shall we execute this code? But before we execute this code, we need to do few more things here. For suppose if you want to add JUnit dependency, uh, you want to add that JUnit 4 libraries here instead of 3. You would like to add JUnit 4 libraries. So what you will do, change this dependency here. You'll find it in that 5 minutes tutorial. Now what happens? So Maven, now it will download this jar file related to JUnit 4. It will download it. From where it is down, it will download it. Now it depends. It depends from where it is going to download. So okay. So first of all, you say you will find that Maven, generally it will download it from a repository. Now that repository depends. When we talk about repositories in Maven, you have two different types of repositories. So one repository is local repository and the other one is central repository. The other one is central, or we say remote repository. So now it's the responsibility of the Maven itself to download this jar file, JUnit jar file. So first of all, it will check for that dependency in the local repository. First of all, it will check for the dependency in the local repository itself. Okay. So if it fails to find the repository, sorry, jar file in the local repository. Local repository means within the same machine. I'll show you people. By default, it creates it in the documents, or you should see that in users you have a user created with the name, with your name, right? In my case, it is Raystar. You see in that documents user folder, you'll find it. You have M2. You see .m2. This is a repository where Maven will store all the jar files. Maven will add. It will add it to that project. You see the repository. In the repository, it will have all this data. Okay. What if that jar file, if it fails to find that jar file in this local repository, then it will refer to the central repository, a remote repository, which is in the online. Okay. On some remote servers, you have all these jar files. Okay. So we don't need to bother about it. We don't configure that remote repository details and all. Maven knows from where to fetch this dependencies or jars. Yeah. Once it gets it from the remote repository, generally what Maven does is, so it will store it to the local repository. Next time, if it needs that dependencies, jars, it will fetch it from the local repository itself. Okay, that is how it works. Fine. Next, what else we need to do here? Now we need to ask the Maven. We need to ask Maven to build this project. Building means, what do you think? When I say building the project, what does that mean? Compiling the code, creating the appropriate packages, and all such details. Okay, compiling the code, creating that jar files, packaging structures, and all. Okay, just a minute, please. Just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, sorry. How will you package, sorry, how will you ask Maven to build this project? Let's see. First of all, you make sure that you browse to that folder where you have that pom.xml file. cd sample app. You see now in this sample app folder, that is the project folder. In that you have this pom.xml file. Okay. In that you got this pom.xml file. Okay. Now we can execute this command maven package. Maven package. You see, it has built that project now. It has successfully built that project. So you should be able to see a jar file in that folder, mbn work, where you will find it. You see in the target folder. You know, earlier we didn't have this target folder. Earlier we didn't have this target folder. Now it is created. Now in the target folder you should see sample app 1.0 snapshot. It's a jar file. Yes. The command is maven mbn space package. Okay. Now we got the jar file. You see in this jar file, you know what is the content of this jar file? You know, yes, you'll have your project class files and all in this jar file. I'll show you people. See, I'm opening it with WinRAR. You see, you'll have that packages, whatever packages you have created in your project, and you'll have the dot class files here. Dot class files only. Yeah. Okay. And a meta in folder. So now Maven has created this project structure for us. Sorry, it has created that executable file for us. You know, the jar file, a deployable unit. Now let's try to execute that class, app class, which is in that jar file. Okay. For that you have a command here. Just a minute. Maven 5 minutes tutorial. So I'll move into that. Oops, I'll move into that folder. Just don't worry, just a minute. The target folder where I have that jar file, or else you don't need to move it to the target folder also if you wish. So now you see what is that project name? It is sample app, right? Sample app hyphen 1.com dot mtc dot jar mtc. That's it. Java hyphen cp means class path. Cp means class path. In the jar file, you see we got that app class in the package, right? Yes. So that is what we want to execute here. I'll press enter. You see, it executed. It prints hello world. So hope you people got it, right? Any questions? Maybe now still you might be wondering what is the advantage of using Maven, but soon when we use Spring Maven to develop Spring applications, you will find it here. Okay. Yep. Now we can import this Maven project into Eclipse IDE also, and you can work from the Eclipse IDE. I'll show you people. So first of all, if you want to import that Maven project, you see you have a file, right? Import option is there. File import. File import. You see. So select this import. you have Maven. Expand this Maven option. Please make a note of it. See, in this you have this option, existing Maven projects. So import under the Maven, you have existing Maven projects. Select this option, click on next. Now you browse to the location where you have this Maven project. Okay, browse to the location where you have this Maven project. So here under the MVN, I have this sample app. Click on OK. Select that folder, sample app. That's it. Now click on finish. You see, you got that project here. You can start working with it. So Maven is one of the beautiful tools, which helps us a lot in the development. You'll find it, you'll realize it soon when we see it in Spring. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's all. I'll do one thing, I'll stop it here because most of them didn't turn up. So at least in the next class in the morning tomorrow. So we'll work with this Spring project. I'll start with Spring. I'll show you people how to work with Maven, and we'll explore this Maven tool further in while developing Spring projects. Okay, so we'll learn a few more things. So we got a class tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Okay, so that's all for today then.